PC Manoria will be speaking first with us. He is the director of the Manoria Heart and Critical Care Hospital in Bhopal. He's a former professor and head of Department of Cardiology at GMC Bhopal. And he's also been the honorary physician to the governor of MP. He's the past national president of CSI, API, ICC, and the past dean of ICP, ICMU. And his accolades need we would run short of time. He's also the past chairman of the Hypertension Council, Asian Pacific Society of Cardiology, and the past vice president, SARC Cardiac Society. He has been awarded several achievement awards. Amongst them, noteworthy is the Lifetime Achievement Award during the WCCPC 2008 by Bharat Ratna Honorable Shri AP Abdul Kalam. He has also organized several national and international conferences for the last 40 years. He has edited 33 books and 64 publications, and probably several more in various journals. So, without further ado, I will hand it over to Dr. Manoria. So, should I be reading the case out or?
I will do.
Yeah, you'll do the honors. Thank you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. So at the outset, I'd like to thank Dr. Kamal Sharma for inviting to this wonderful conference. The topic for the Bout 20 is CAD and diabetes. The case which I am confronted with is shown on your screen. In simplistic manner, this case has abnormalities in all the three components of the cardiometabolic syndrome, cardiometabolic continuum. He has an established CAD. He has undergone angioplasty to LED 3 years back. He has CKD stage 3B. He has HFrEF. He is overweight and has inadequate glycemic control. All these features mark him out as a very, very high risk case, and he needs urgent focus and attention. He's on an SGLT2 inhibitor, metformin, and insulin glargine. The question posed to me is, what will be the next line of anti-diabetic medication apart from the medication which is already on, along with diet and lifestyle modification? The obvious answer is GLP receptor agonist, because if you utilize GLP receptor agonist in this patient, it will target 4 out of 5 abnormalities present in this patient. It will improve the glycemic control. All of us know diabetes is caused by the ominous uptake of defrenzo. This patient is already on an SGLT2 inhibitor, so the renal defect is taken care of. If we utilize GLP-1 receptor agonist in this patient, you can see it targets 6 out of 8 defects of the ominous uptake and provides a disease-modifying approach, and the glycemic control is with little or no hypoglycemia. And trials have shown that produces good HbA1c reduction. As you can see, larger number of patients achieve HbA1c target. What would be the effects on the cardiometabolic profile? It decreases weight, as you can see on this slide, also decreases blood pressure, and therefore improve the cardiometabolic profile of this obese individual. In ASCD, GLP-1 receptor agonists are a boon for ASCD in type 2 diabetes. 2016 LEADER trial laid the first foundation milestone with GLP receptor agonist liraglutide by showing improved ASCVD outcome in diabetic patients. And following this, there was a spurt of positive CV outcome trials. You can see SUSTAIN 6 with semaglutide, HARMONY with elbaglutide, REWIND with dulaglutide, and 2019 initiated another foundation milestone with PIONEER 6 trial, and this was done with oral semaglutide and was approved by US FDA after this. This is an overview of the outcome trials of GLP-1 receptor agonists. You can see LEADER with liraglutide, a 13% reduction in MACE, SUSTAIN 6 trial with semaglutide, 26% reduction in MACE, REWIND, dulaglutide, 12% reduction in MACE, and HARMONY, 22% reduction in MACE. In addition, liraglutide is unique in the sense that it also produced a 22% reduction in cardiovascular death and a 15% reduction in the all-cause mortality. The SUSTAIN 6 produced 39% reduction in stroke, and the HARMONY additional 25% reduction in acute myocardial infarction. And this is a meta-analysis. You can see 3-point NACE decreased by 18%, significant cardiovascular death, 19%, significant MI and strokes are also reduced. And there are a panoply of mechanisms by which GLP-1 receptor benefits atherosclerosis. You can see on the slide on the left side. It also benefits MI by multiple mechanisms. You can see it on the right side. The myocardial salvage index, the infarct side, the LV ejection fraction in STEMI was significantly improved with these agents. What will be the effects on CKD? It also improves renal outcome. You can see on the slide the composite outcome, the new onset microalbuminuria and the MACE, and it slows down the annual declining eGFR, particularly if GFR is less than 60. All guidelines across the globe has approved GLP-1 receptor agonists for targeting ASCVD or those patients who have multiple risk factors. But distressingly enough, the utility of GLP is less than 10% in the Western population and much less in the Indian population. The two barriers which are often talked are that this is a costly drug, but you have to realize 80% of the cost of treatment of diabetes lies in the treatment of complications, and all these complications are preventable with early, appropriate, and optimum initiation of treatment. And therefore, the criticism that liraglutide is costly is inappropriate because in the long run, it is going to be cost effective. The second barrier, which is often talked about, is the injectable therapy. Now, with oral semaglutide going to be available in the country very soon, this injectable limitation will also become evanescent in near future. And we know oral semaglutide is a co-formulation with SNAC, which increases its absorption, and it will also improve the acceptance and adherence in compared to the injectable GLP-1. And the dose is 14 milligram once daily, which is gradually built up. It is to be taken on an empty stomach and nothing to be taken for the next 30 minutes. The cardiovascular outcome trial SOUL is ongoing, and several other interesting trials are ongoing with this molecule. During the last couple of years, there has been a sea change in diabetes care, and currently we are in the era of CV risk reduction with new anti-diabetic agents, GLP-1 receptor agonists and SGLT2 inhibitors. But distressingly enough, the management of diabetes is still largely focused around glycemic control and glycemic control. Don't forget, you can die of an acute myocardial infarction with an excellent HbA1c of 6.5 as this individual, and there are similar milestones in the graveyard. Good glycemic control does not prevent acute myocardial infarction, particularly when using the conventional anti-diabetic agent. All of us know the mere presence of diabetes decreases your life by 6 years, and MI then stroke gets superimposed by 12 years, and both get superimposed by 18 years. 70% of diabetics die of acute myocardial infarction, and therefore, if you want to increase the longevity of diabetes,
sir, your time is over, sir.
So AMI, Save the Heart, should be the key step in treatment of diabetes, and the lock of ASCVD in type 2 diabetes can be opened with GLP-1 receptor agonists. So the last slide, change is the way of life. Everything in this universe changes. Interestingly, the kids, as you can see on the slide, have rapidly adopted the change in life, and therefore the medical fraternity should also promptly adopt the sea change in diabetes care like the kids by increased utilization of GLP-1RA for ASCVD, increased utilization of SGLT2 for HFrEF and CKD, and with availability of oral semaglutide in future, oral semaglutide with SGLT2 will be the futuristic combination for improving cardiorenal outcomes, and oral semaglutide in times to come may prove to be a game changer. Thank you very much for your time.